Christ, the God of all comfort. It is written, "And upon the first day of the week, when the disciples came together to break bread, Paul preached unto them, ready to depart on the morrow, and continued his speech until midnight. And there were many lights in the upper chamber, where they were gathered together, and there sat in a window a certain young man named Eutychus, being fallen into a deep sleep. And as Paul was long preaching, he sunk down with sleep, and fell down from the third loft, and was taken up dead. And Paul went down and fell on him, and embracing him said, Trouble not yourselves, for his life is in him. When he therefore was come up again, and had broken bread, and eaten, and talked a long while, even till break of day, so he departed. And they brought the young man alive, and were not a little comforted. Acts 20, verse 7 to 12. I know that many questions, such as, is God real? Didn't Christ say he was in the midst of such gatherings? How could he let Satan do this? And many more would have been on my mind had I been there. Christ, the believer's peace, joy, happiness, and much more, was in the midst of them, as promised in Matthew 18, verse 20. He brought Eutychus back to life, whose name means lucky, fortunate. Christ did, not luck. Christ could have prevented this young man from falling and dying, but he chose to let it happen to prove that he was indeed the resurrection and the life, as he said in John 11, verse 25. This story is reminiscent of what Christ did for the widow of Zarephath. It occurred to me that Christ did for Eutychus through Paul what he had done for the widow of Zarephath's son through Elijah. When the widow's son died, it is written, and he, meaning Elijah, whom the Lord had sent to this woman, stretched himself upon the child 3 times and cried unto the Lord. And the soul of the child came into him again, and he revived. And Elijah took the child and delivered him unto his mother. And Elijah said, See, thy son liveth. And the woman said to Elijah, Now I know that thou art a man of God, and that the word of the Lord in thy mouth is truth. 1 Kings 17, 21 to 24. Late that night in Acts, Paul was preaching the same word of God now made flesh, according to John 1:14. As with the widow of Zarephath, Christ that evening was a great consolation for all the believers who saw him resurrect Eutychus. Is Christ the God of all comfort to you? Come to Christ.